Hi, this is Alka, and welcome back to my channel. Well, I'm in Michelle's room, or formerly known as Michelle's room. This is the room my wife was using since we moved here in Teaneck back in 2019, and unfortunately she passed away 8 months ago. It'll be 9 in a week or so. Anyway, reason I'm here today is because we got the news that Donald J. Trump got a reprieve on the bond, and they reduced it from the $454 million to $175 million. It's because they were having problems trying to secure the bond. Well, I think there was another reason we didn't know about until now. Apparently, some people were pressuring the last people that helped Trump with a bond with the E. Jean Carroll case. They were putting pressure on them not to give him another bond. So we've seen why that he was having problems. We had people interfering with his due process. So those folks are a real stinker. You should butt out, because if it was your situation, you wouldn't want nobody to do that to you. And by the way, being a former transit employee in 1980 and in 2005, you have former Ed Koch saying, well, transit police go on strike, they should lose their jobs and they should lose their homes. So basically, Tisha James is doing something from the Ed Koch playbook. This is why I'm not too thrilled about her doing this. Because when she's doing what she's doing, it reminds me of Ed Koch wanting to do it to us. Which is ridiculous. And by the way, my sources told me that yes, indeed, even though she made a statement, it wasn't on television. It was behind the scenes. She was furious that she was about to take over a property as of today, but because the bond issue has been extended for an additional 10 days at a reduced price, she's not going to be able to touch anything right now. So her hopes of removing the Trump name from any property as of today is now. I'm not pro or against Trump. I am a Democrat, liberal Democrat, but I'm not interested in voting Democrat this time because unfortunately we've seen what happened the last time when my fellow Democrats voted for Joe Biden. And things are not working out. I mean, I'm lucky I have a pension because otherwise I would be screwed too. So I feel bad for the people who are still trying to work and live in New York City, and their rent keeps going up and their salary is not catching up. And they're losing a lot of stuff. Well, anyway, let's go to the story about what happened today in court that got Donald Trump this break and has pissed off Letitia James in her office. If you don't see her on TV today, this is why. She's pissed. Well, anyway, let's go and see what happened. So, in a win for Trump, appeal courts lower his bond to $175 million in civil fraud case. This is from ABC News. It also said the ruling delays enforcement of the $464 million judgment in 10 days. Everybody has a different number. They think it's $4 million. They think it's $5 million. It's somewhere between. Anyway, the story was written by Aaron Kaskowski, Peter Charmlumbros, Mike Levine, and John Santucci. I know how to just say Santucci because I knew there was a politician with that name one time. No, I don't think these two are related. Anyway, this is what happened. The New York Court of Appeals, the New York Appellate Court, had ruled that former President Trump can post a lower bond to cover his $464 million civil fraud judgment. The appeal division, the first department, said that Trump can impose a bond in the amount of $175 million to cover this judgment. The Trump attorney had argued obtaining a bond in the full amount of $464 million was a practical impossibility, and as I explained, that some forces were interfering with them trying to get the bond. So they were trying to get Chubb to come up with this bond originally after the E. Jean Carroll case, and some people are, doing this cancel culture nonsense on them. Anyway, the panel of 5 judges also opted to delay the enforcement of the $464 million judgment for 10 days. But, if he comes up with the money, the 175, the teacher won't be able to touch anything. The ruling comes as Trump and his sons face a Monday deadline to pay or secure a bond or risk New York Attorney General Letitia James beginning the process of seizing the former president's prized possessions or assets. It is ordered that the motion is granted to the extent of state enforcement of those portions of the judgment. 1. Ordering disgorgement of the Attorney General's of the $464,233.62. Even with glasses, I can't read so much stuff. Condition of the defendants appealing posting with the 10 days of the date of this order and undertaking the amount of $175 million. The 2-page order says, Trump addressed the reporters during his appearance Monday at a hearing at his hush money criminal case, that's Allen Bragg's. Thanks to the appeal court for the ruling. He's thanking them. He said, I greatly respect the decision of the appellate court, and I post the 175 in cash or bonds or securities or whatever is necessary very quickly within the 10 days. I thank the appellate court for acting quickly. Trump says, we got what we wanted, one source close to Trump told ABC News. 30 bond companies have declined to offer Trump a bond to cover the full $464 million judgment, and we're waiting for the appeal court to rule. So, in a statement, a spokesman for the New York Attorney General said the $664 million judgment plus interest against Trump and others are still standing. Donald Trump is still facing accountability for his struggling fraud. The statement says the court has already found that he engaged in years of fraud to falsely inflate his net worth and unjustly enrich himself, his family, and organization. Trump attorney Alina Abba in a statement says, we are extremely pleased with the ruling issued by the appellate division. This momentum holds ringed in Judge Enron's verdict, which is afforded to all Americans. This is the first important step in fighting back against Letitia James and her targeted witch hunt against my client, which stated before she even stepped foot in office. The First Department, no doubt, recognized the rule of law must triumph over the political agenda of the Attorney General, says Trump attorney Christopher Keese. President Trump looked forward to a full, fair, appellate procedure which the overturn of the judgment and end the Attorney General's abuse of power and tyranny pursuit of the frontrunner for candidate of the President of the United States. Of course, in February, Judge Enron found that Trump and his sons had committed a decade of fraud by inflating their access to obtain better deals. Trump and his sons had denied all wrongdoing and appealed the ruling. The finding and the $354 million penalty plus interest immediately presented a cash crunch for a man who successfully ran for president on his wealth and success. I mean, I became president because of the brand, okay? I became president. I think that the hottest brand in the world, Trump told the Attorney General office during the deposition last year. Since Judge Enron ordered last month, Trump's lawyers had made considered efforts to delay the enforcement of the mass financial penalty in his civil fraud case, as well as the $83.3 million judgment, which he was ordered to pay after a jury found him liable for defaming writer E. Jean Carroll. This is the subject of another lawsuit between Trump and ABC News and George Stephanopoulos because they keep saying the R word. Said that they convicted him of the R word when it was not the case. Um, Trump, who has denied all wrongdoing, has filed a notice of appeal in that case. That's the one he got the bond for the E.G. Carroll case, so he can continue to appeal it. And that's when the cancel culture clowns were showing up at Chubb's, causing problems for them. So, following Trump's fraud judgment, Trump lawyers were asked Judge Enron to delay entering the judgment by 30 days to allow for an ordinary post-judgment procedure, particularly given the magnitude of the judgment. Enron denied the request and signed the judgment on February 22nd. The following day, the New York Court clerk entered the judgment, effectively starting the clock for the financial penalties in the case. He had failed to explain, much less justify, any basis for the stay, Enron wrote in the response to the defense request. Well, now we have an explanation for it. The bond people couldn't find the ways to finance that money, or in some cases the balls to do it, because the people on your side, Mr. Enron, was doing stuff they weren't even supposed to be doing. So now you know your justification for not giving him the 38th century was ridiculous. So I'm confident that the appeals division will protect your appeal rights, and they did. The following week, Trump's lawyers asked for the New York Appellate Division, the first department, for permission to post a $100 million bail, a fraction of the $550 million needed to cover the full judgment. They advised the court there was a bond for the complete judgment was impossible, and the Trump organization might have to sell off properties. And in absence of stay and the terms hereby outlined, the properties would likely need to be sold to raise the capital under extenuating circumstances. There would be no way to recover any property sold following a successful appeal, and no means to recover the resulting financial losses from the Attorney General, defense attorney said. So the lawyer for the New York Attorney General pushed back against their request, arguing that Trump may attempt to evade punishment if his appeals fail. He's not trying to do that. An appellate judge on the February 28th denied Trump's request for a stay of the final penalty, but lifted a ruling Judge Enron handed down prohibiting Trump from running any New York company and access line of credit, opening the door for Trump to ask for a Shirley company, secured company for a bond. But Trump's lawyers returned to the same court last Monday asking again for delay because finding a bond company to sign off on the $500 million bond was practically impossible, they told the court, because of the size of the bond and the necessity for Trump to use property as collateral. More than 30 Shirley companies turned down the potential bond, according to the court filing. Perhaps worst of all, the Attorney General argues that the defense should be forced to dispense an iconic multi-billion-dollar real estate holding in a fire sale, a defense lawyer told the court. I mean, would you want to sell your house below value? No. Trump himself had claimed that he has almost $500 million in cash, but his lawyers have argued that he can't both pay the bond and run his companies, which is true. You know, he got to pay payroll, he got to pay taxes, he got to pay insurance, he's got to pay maintenance, he got to pay for a lot of stuff. And if you have to maintenance, you need to buy stuff to maintain the building. Any repairs and stuff, you know, you got to deliver by truck because they can't do it by helicopter or train. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of money for these property. Despite not spending any of his own money on the campaign back in 2020, Trump also claimed he wanted to use the money on his current campaign, which is true. I think this is why she brought this lawsuit in the first place. It had nothing to do with fraud, but to prevent him from running for office. Didn't work. So billions of dollars of value, billions of dollars in property, but they like to take the cash anyway, so I can't use it on the campaign, Trump says last week. Trump's lawyer also made a similar effort to delay the enforcement of the judgment in his $83.3 million defamation suit, thought the former president eventually secured a $91 million bond for the judgment plus the interest by using a brokerage account as collateral. See, he was able to do that, but, afterwards, a freaking cancel culture clowns were showing up and causing problems. While James won't be putting a padlock on the building like Trump Tower or 40 Wall Street, she took the innocent steps last week to potentially seize a golf course and estate that Trump owned in New York's Westchester County by registering the judgment there. If I was the guy who runs Westchester County, the executive guy, I think he's a Republican, I wouldn't let her down in Westchester County alone seize the property. I'm going to assume they're going to go to New York property first because that's the easiest to do. Steve Cohen, the New York attorney who worked including enforcing judgment, told ABC News, said the potential process to seize Trump's access. And then there was another reporter also contributed to this report, Soon Ring King. That's pretty long. But the fact was, yes, Letitia James was supposed to take over a golf course today, but instead, the Court of Appeals came to Trump's rescue. Yes, they're gonna ask him to put $175 million instead of the $100 that he asked for a while back, because they realized that they're having problems raising the funds because 30 companies can't come up with that money, or they were being harassed by people. They should mind their own business. I mean, like I said, this happened to us when we went on strike in 1980 and 2005. Ed Koch wanted employees to get fired. He wants them to lose their homes. So Letitia James is stealing a page from Ed Koch's book to do to Trump. So they're doing it to Trump. They will do it to us the next time we go on strike. So this ain't just about Trump. This is about everybody. New York State is coming apart. The crime is out of control. You notice the subways is getting pretty bad. They had to bring the National Guard in. And even on the week they brought in the National Guard, they had a shooting aboard an A train at Hoyt Skimmerhorn. And that situation, of course, the guy who brought the gun on the train must have been looking for trouble, because the moment he got onto the train, that he confronted that 32-year-old man, he thought he was one of the guys who was beating up the cops at Times Square. So he confused him with one of the migrants. This guy is from the Middle East, here legally. Isn't that lovely? This is New York. And it's a shame the governor had to have egg in her face after this incident. Well, anyway, anything else comes up, we'll let you know. And by the way, the Allen Bragg's case is set for April 15th. We'll keep you updated on that too. So this is Al Kane saying so long for now, and don't forget your stop.